Well, what do we have here? Zero hedge. What is this? Lawmakers leak plan for a $3 billion pension fund bailout? You mean pension funds are Ponzi schemes like we've said all along and they always fail? As we've been saying for a long time, America's dangerously underfunded defined benefit corporate and public pensions are little more than lavish Ponzi schemes designed to swaddle one generation of retirees with lavish benefits, a fixed monthly income and health benefits until death, while siphoning payments from a younger generation that will never reap the benefits. What's worse, these contributions have been climbing, even as funds have been forced to raise fees and contributions, which has done little to address the underlying issue. While public pension funds have hogged most of the media spotlight, Congress has been quietly taking steps to address a more vulnerable sector of the pension space, to wit, a bipartisan group of lawmakers, which means Republicans and Democrats, sneaked a provision into this year's budget deal that established a committee to decide how to prevent the retirement benefits of 1 million Americans from evaporating once thousands of failing multi-employer plans finally collapse into insolvency. That committee was given a deadline of November 30th to propose a solution. And while many ideas have been bandied about, including raising fees, levies, and contributions on healthy plans to subsidize their failing cousins, from the beginning, it's difficult to imagine how this $500 billion shortfall, $500 billion shortfall, which is the aggregate underfunding of these corporate pension plans, according to an estimate from Boston College. And if it's an estimate, you know what the truth probably is, right? You know what this means. It's probably much worse. Could be covered without, anyway, so the aggregate underfunding of these corporate pension plans, according to an estimate from Boston College, could be covered without the American taxpayer footing the bill. Adding to the urgency, nearly 1/4 of the 1,400 multi-employer plans in the U.S. are in the red zone, meaning they will likely go broke within the next decade. And if the recent bout of turmoil across virtually all asset classes continue, the day of reckoning could be hastened, particularly if the low returns on conventional assets force these funds to place riskier bets on alternative strategies like hedge funds, something that many funds did in desperation during the zero interest rate era. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that in the first draft of its plan to save these pensions, the committee proposed restoring the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, or PBGC, to solvency with, you guessed it, taxpayer-backed subsidies from the Treasury to the tune of $3 billion per year. The plan is also considering raising premiums, introducing new fees, and importantly, cutting benefits. I said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it 400 times. You ever get a note, a letter, a call, hey, this is your pension company. We're willing to settle with you, we're going to give you a lump sum. You're not going to like it, but we're willing to. You take it and you run as fast as you can. A draft of the plan obtained by the Washington Post would direct the Treasury Department to spend up to $3 billion annually to subsidize payments for retirees from certain underfunded pensions. So since I don't have a pension, but I live here too, I'm a human being and so are you, and I'm an American just like you, most of you, do I get a bonus? Do I get a free 401k? I mean, do I get help too? I mean, you're giving out free money to some certain people. Well, again, you can't just pick and choose what people get free money. So, do I get some too? I mean, I'm just saying. It would also require benefit cuts, higher premiums, and new fees levied against companies and union members in an attempt to make the pensions as financially solvent as possible. The proposal aims to require all parties involved to make a significant concession or concessions and caps taxpayer contributions. Oh, like what, $3 billion a year to start with? Oh. The retirement programs are called multi-employer pensions, as workers from multiple companies pay into the same retirement benefit program. But many of these pensions lack the financial assets to cover the benefits. they have promised retired workers, leading to a panic from retirees who were counting on the funds. These pensions often have been plagued by mismanagement, inaccurate economic projections, and in some cases, corporate bankruptcies. Unfortunately, that $3 billion a year isn't nearly enough to cover the shortfall, which is why the plan also calls for other streams of capital. According to the Washington Post, the leaked draft proposal is only a rough sketch of one of several alternatives being considered by the committee. Translation, this is a trial balloon. What's perhaps more or most surprising about the plan is that it has bipartisan backing. This is a bipartisan effort, as neither party is ready for the political backlash of hundreds of thousands of retirees forced into bankruptcy in the poorhouse. After all, those retirees do vote, and their vote counts, right? We bailed out Wall Street in 2008, so why can't we bail out the boomers, baby boomers, too? But the dire financial condition of many of these multi-employer plans has forced lawmakers to consider such a move as part of a broader package of changes. A growing number of multi-employer plans are now severely underfunded, and the issue gets worse every year as more people retire and seek benefits they believe they were promised. Lawmakers from both parties, under pressure from many retired constituents and business groups, have expressed alarm that hundreds of thousands of older Americans can soon see their retirements and savings vanish, the plans anyways, vanish or become severely depleted because the pensions were, well, mismanaged and or, not even or, really and, underfunded. Many people in these pension plans, such as retired truck drivers, grocery store clerks, and delivery workers, were employed by companies that went out of business. And many of these multi-employer pensions were underfunded, meaning they anticipated higher returns and lower payouts than what occurred. As problems worsened, taxpayer assistance was seen by many experts as inevitable. We bailed out Wall Street in 2008 and 9, said Kenneth Feinberg, who was appointed to a top role at the Treasury Department in 2015, working on problems with multi-employer pension plans. Bailouts have occurred before. Again, hey, give it to the people this time. I'm with you. Give it to the people. But if you don't have a pension, guess what? You just got one. The new jabroni pension. You don't have a pension, and since we're going to bail out the pensioners, you're included. Right? You can't just have one class of citizen that gets them. Where's mine? Like Smokey said. I won. Give me my money. Oh, Jay Snip, you don't have a pension plan. Oh, I lost. Of course, saving multi-employer funds would be like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, because public pension funds are an even larger ticking time bomb. They're facing a, get ready for this, $7 trillion shortfall, a problem that is almost too big to contemplate. Remember the TARP funds? We needed $800 billion. It was just a big number we needed. No real reason. We got all pissed off. $800 billion? What the hell? No. Like 8 times that, or whatever the hell it is. $7 trillion. They're facing a $7 trillion shortfall, a problem that is almost too big to contemplate, but repairing the PBGC seems like a logical first step. Like the FDIC, the PBGC is an insurance program funded by premiums paid by its participating members or pensioners or pension systems. Its entire income is made up by premiums collected and the investment income it earns on those premiums. But isn't that what the pensions are too? Their earnings come from investments. And if those investments suck, and then the insurance is taking the premium and investing it in those same sucky things, no, it can't be that simple to figure. No, there's no way that's so gonna, As Washington Post explained, the PBGC, which was created in the 1970s, is extremely underfunded. The fund had nearly $70 billion in liabilities last year, compared with just, ready? $70 billion in liabilities last year, compared with just $2.3 billion in assets. And since the fund's only sources of revenue are fees it collects from its members and returns on its investments, once markets crash and more members start to fail, the drop in revenue risks triggering a vicious cycle. Can you see why I don't care what cryptos are doing right now? Oh, they're slammed, they're manipulated, it's never coming back. What else is out there? What else are you going to do? Oh, my 401k is looking good again. Not for long. Up, crashed. Damn. But I need it now. I'm retiring. Sorry about that. Take that early, 10%. And it's crashing, 10% plus the market crash. You want it now? Nah, maybe I'll hold off for a little while. I'll just go get I'll be 65, 60, 70 working till the market recovers, and then I can. I think I'd rather take my retirement in my own hands. And I'm all in crypto, baby. In silver, precious metal, silver. I haven't touched my silver. Not even one little ounce. The Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation was created by Congress to provide a financial backstop for pension plans, but its program to insure multi-employer plans is severely underfunded. It had $67.3 billion in liabilities as of last year and just $2.3 billion in assets. The entire fund is projected to run out of money by 2025, although the agency said there is considerable risk that it could run out before then. Last year, the PBGC provided $141 million in assistance to 72 insolvent multiplayer plans, and there are several others listed as critical. I wanna get critical, critical. I wanna get critical. Let me hear your broker call. Your broker call. Yeah, listen. It's your broker. We're broke. And likely soon to become insolvent. Lawmakers have been particularly alarmed about one faltering plan called Central States Teamsters, which has 400,000 participants, and whose members include retired truck drivers, among others. Once the PBGC's fund to pay multiplayer plans runs out of any money, the agency would be able to pay only a small fraction of the pension benefits that retirees were expecting. The agency said this last year. Because PBGC was created by Congress for the purpose of protecting pensions, some experts believe that emergency government assistance was always anticipated. Quote, when people's livelihoods will be lost, government has always stepped up to back its own creations, said Joshua Gottbaum, who served as director of the PBGC from 2010 until 2014. So he's gone now. Don't worry, your government's got your back. We're out of here. Yeah, the government will have your back for a little while. Did I mention there's a $7 trillion shortfall in the public pension? No, okay. A pension fund crisis could cause real tangible harm to millions of Americans. Given the severity of the risks, it's surprising that they aren't more widely discussed. I'm your Realist News host, Jay Snip 4. That was some real news. Take care.